A buyer can look at two Charleston homes with the exact same purchase price and still end up with completely different monthly payments, risk levels, and resale outcomes. This is one of the most important things to understand before buying here in the Lowcountry. A $500,000 home in one area might feel manageable because the taxes, insurance, HOA fees, and maintenance are all reasonable. Another home at that same price point could look like a better deal online, but once you factor in the flood insurance, homeowners insurance, an expensive HOA, an older roof, drainage issues, and a longer commute, the true cost can change quite quickly. So in this video, I want to talk about the hidden costs of buying here in Charleston, South Carolina, and how those costs affect both buyers and sellers. If you're buying, this can help you to avoid an expensive mistake. If you're selling, it'll help you understand what buyers are thinking before they ever submit an offer. Real quick, my name's Hunter Javier. I'm a local Charleston realtor, and I help people buy and sell real estate throughout the greater Charleston area, including downtown Charleston, Mount Pleasant, Daniel Island, West Ashley, James Island, Johns Island, Summerville, Goose Creek, North Charleston, Hanahan, Ladson, and the surrounding Lowcountry. Now, let's start with the cost everyone else sees first, the purchase price. Most buyers begin by asking, what can I afford? That question matters, but in Charleston, the better question is, what will this property actually cost me to own? Purchase price is only one piece of the equation. Your monthly payment can be affected by your interest rate, property taxes, homeowner insurance, flood insurance, HOA dues, maintenance, utilities, and sometimes special assessment or community fees. That's especially important here because the Charleston market has coastal homes, historic homes, older properties, newer master plan communities, flood-prone areas, beach towns, suburban neighborhoods, and fast-growing island markets, all within the same metro area. First, let's talk about insurance. A lot of people moving here from other states are surprised by the homeowners insurance in coastal South Carolina. The closer you get to the water, the more important it becomes to quote your insurance early. Charleston, Mount Pleasant, Isle of Palms, Sullivan's Island, Folly Beach, James Island, Johns Island, and parts of West Ashley can all have very different insurance costs depending on the property. The age of the major systems matter. Distance from the coast matters, wind and hail coverage matters, the carrier, deductible, claims history, plumbing, electrical, and overall condition of the home can all affect cost and insurability. Don't wait until you're at closing to try to figure out the insurance number. A smart buyer should get quotes during due diligence. A smart seller should understand the likely insurance conversation before listing. If a buyer finds out late in the process that insurance is much higher than expected, that can become a renegotiation point or even cause the deal to fall apart. Second, flood insurance. This is one of the biggest Charleston-specific topics. We're surrounded by water. The Ashley, Cooper, Wando, and Stoner rivers, tidal creeks, marshes, drainage basins, the harbor, and the Atlantic Ocean all shape the way people live and buy here. Flood risk is absolutely not limited to beachfront homes. It can show up in neighborhoods that look completely normal on a sunny day. One mistake buyers make is focusing only on whether the lender requires flood insurance. Required and smart are not always the same thing. Some properties outside the highest risk flood zones can still flood. The city of Charleston has noted that a meaningful share of flood claims come from low to moderate risk areas. So being outside a high hazard zone doesn't mean your risk is zero. You want to know the flood zone, elevation, base flood elevation when applicable, whether there's an elevation certificate, whether the property has past flood claims, how the yard drains, where the water goes during heavy rain, and whether nearby streets flood during king tides or storms. For sellers, this matters because buyers are more aware of flood risks than they used to be. If your home has a strong elevation story, flood vents, an elevation certificate, newer drainage improvements, or a lower risk location compared with nearby alternatives, that should be part of the marketing. Don't make buyers guess. If there's a potential objection, address it before it even becomes a problem. Third, property taxes. South Carolina can be very favorable for primary residence taxes, but the details matter. A legal primary residence can qualify for the 4% assessment ratio if the buyer applies and meets the requirements. Second homes, investment properties, and many non-primary residences are typically taxed at a 6% assessment ratio. That difference can be significant. This is where buyers can get confused. They look at the current tax bill online and assume that their tax bill will be roughly that after closing. That might not be the case. If the seller has owned the home for a long time, has a primary residence exemption, or bought at a much lower value, the next buyer's tax bill may be reset based on the new purchase price and the buyer's classification. If you're relocating to Charleston, buying a primary home, you need to understand how to apply for the legal residence rate. If you're planning on buying a second home, rental property, or investment property in the area, you should not use the seller's primary residence tax bill in your estimate. That's one of the easiest ways to underestimate the true monthly cost. Sellers need to understand this too. A buyer may love the house and then get nervous when the lender estimates taxes higher than what they saw online. Having that conversation early can prevent confusion later. Next, HOA and community fees. Charleston has a wide range of neighborhoods. Some have no HOA at all, some have small annual fees, and others are master plan communities with monthly or quarterly dues that may cover amenities, landscaping, pools, trails, docks, gyms, gates, common areas, or neighborhood events. In condos and townhomes, fees may cover exterior insurance, maintenance, termite bonds, landscaping, reserves, and shared building expenses. A higher HOA is not automatically bad. Sometimes it covers real value, but buyers need to understand what's included, what's not included, and how healthy the reserves are, whether there are rental restrictions, whether any assessments are coming, and what rules could affect their lifestyle. This matters in places like Daniel Island, parts of Mount Pleasant, Summerville master plan neighborhoods, condo buildings downtown, townhome communities in North Charleston, and newer communities through Berkeley and Dorchester County. For sellers, the HOA can either be a benefit or an objection. If the amenities are strong, market them. If the dues are high, explain what they cover. If the community has rental restrictions, make sure that information is clear before an investor wastes time on a property that's not going to fit their plans. Another cost buyers underestimate is commute and lifestyle friction. This one doesn't show up on a closing disclosure, but it absolutely affects the quality of life. Charleston traffic can change a way a neighborhood feels. A home may be 10 miles from downtown Charleston, but that doesn't mean it's 10 minutes easy. Bridges, school traffic, beach traffic, rush hour, and construction can all change the daily experience. That's why buyers should not choose an area only from a map. Drive it at the times that you actually plan on living it. If you work downtown, test the commute from Johns Island, Summerville, Mount Pleasant, West Ashley, or Goose Creek during realistic traffic. If you plan to be at the beach every weekend, understand the difference between living near Folly Beach, Sullivan's Island, Isle of Palms, or further inland. If you have kids, look at school drop-off patterns, activity location, and how often you'll need to cross major choke points. A cheaper house with a commute you hate can become expensive in a different way. Time is a cost, stress is a cost, and if you move again sooner than expected because the location doesn't fit your life, that can become a real financial hit. Condition is another quiet budget killer. Charleston homes can be beautiful, but beauty does not replace inspection. Older homes may have crawl space concerns, moisture issues, termite history, outdated electrical, old plumbing, foundation movement, window problems, roof age, HVAC age, drainage issues, or wood rot. Newer homes can still have defects too. Poor grading, builder issues, thin finishes, drainage concerns, and warranty items can show up even in newer construction. Crawl spaces are a big one here. Moisture insulation, vapor barriers, wood fungus, termite drainage, and drainage can all matter. A home might photograph well and still need thousands of dollars of work below the floor. Roof age is another major factor. Insurance carriers care about it. Buyers care about replacement costs. Sellers need to know whether the roof is going to become an objection. HVAC matters too because Charleston heat and humidity put systems to work. If a unit is older, buyers will often factor that into the offer. For buyers, the goal is not to find a perfect house. The goal is to know what they're buying and negotiate with real numbers. For sellers, the goal is to identify the weaker points before a buyer does. Sometimes it's worth fixing obvious issues before listing. Sometimes it's smarter to price accordingly and disclose clearly. The wrong move is pretending the issue doesn't exist. The last piece buyers need to think through is resale risk. Every buyer eventually becomes a seller. Even if you think you'll live in the home for 10 years, life can change. That means future demand should be a part of the decision before you buy. Ask yourself, who will want this home after me? Is the floor plan functional? Is the location improving or becoming harder to navigate? Is there a new construction nearby that's going to compete with this? Is the lot usable? Is parking a problem? Will the flood story scare future buyers? Does the HOA limit the buyer pool? Is the home too customized? Is the price point supported by the neighborhood? This is especially important in Charleston because lifestyle demand is strong, but buyers are still selective. A charming home in the right location can hold attention. A property with a difficult layout, high carrying costs, and a weaker location may need a discount when it's time to sell. Now let's bring this together. When I help someone compare homes in Charleston, I'm not just looking at the list price, I'm looking at the full picture. A house in West Ashley may offer a better balance of access and price than something farther out. A home in Summerville may give you more space and newer construction, but you need to be realistic in the commute and HOA costs. A property in Mount Pleasant may be expensive, but school demand, beach access, and resale strength may justify the premium for the right buyer. A downtown Charleston home may have unmatched character, but inspections, parking, flooding, exterior maintenance, and insurance needs to be understood. A Goose Creek or North Charleston home may offer better affordability, but you still need to compare neighborhood by neighborhood because those markets can vary a lot. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. The right Charleston home is the one where the numbers, location, condition, and long-term plan all make sense together for you. For buyers, my advice is simple. Don't fall in love with online photos before you understand the carrying costs. Before you write an offer, know the likely insurance range, tax estimate, HOA rules, flood situation, commute reality, and major maintenance items. That doesn't mean you need to be afraid of every house. It means you need to buy with your eyes open. For sellers, the lesson is just as important. Buyers are not only judging your home against other homes, they're judging the full cost of owning it. If your taxes are favorable, your insurance story is strong, your flood risk is manageable, your HOA provides real value, your condition is solid, and your location is convenient, those should all be a part of the story. If there are weaknesses, we need to either solve them, price for them, or prepare for them in negotiation. The Charleston market still has a lot going for it. Population growth, job growth, lifestyle demand, limited coastal land, historic character, and a quality of life that continues to attract people from across the country. But the buyers who do the best here are the ones who understand the details. The sellers that do best here are the ones who know how buyers are evaluating the property before it goes live. If you're thinking about buying here in Charleston, I can help you compare areas, estimate the real monthly cost, avoid expensive surprises, and find a home that fits more than just your search filters. If you're thinking about selling, I can help you position your home correctly so buyers understand why it's worth the price. My number is 843-906-0244, and the rest of my contact information is going to be in the description below. Reach out and let me know what you're trying to do, and I'll help you build a plan around the actual numbers, not just a guess. For local Charleston real estate advice that goes much deeper than surface level neighborhood tours, subscribe to my channel. I'll keep showing you what buyers and sellers actually need to know before making a move here in the Lowcountry.